blood circulation. In this module, we are going to discuss on the topic what is a blood, its composition, the coagulation process, blood flow through the heart, and the different health conditions related to the heart. So let's get started. What is a blood? Blood is a body fluid that delivers necessary substances such as nutrients and oxygen to the cell, and it transports metabolic waste products away from those small cells. When blood is oxygenated, it is bright red in color, and when deoxygenated, it is dark red in color. It is saltish in taste, slightly alkaline in nature, heavier than water, and viscous sticky fluid. The science which deals with the study of the blood is called hematology, and the production of the blood corpuscles is termed as hematopoiesis. Blood is required by every body organ and system. Like the digestive system, it digests and absorbs nutrients which get transported to every body cell through blood. Oxygen absorbed from the lungs is carried to all the body parts by the blood. The excretory products are also transported by blood to the kidneys for the filtration and urine formation. Hormones are circulated to the whole body through blood. An adult man has 5 to 6 liters of the blood, and an adult woman has 4 to 5 liters of the blood in their bodies. Evaluating various functions of the blood, in a nutshell, we can say that the blood is the river of the life. All the necessities of life are distributed to various body parts, and harmful substances are removed from them by way of blood that keep on flowing like a river in the body. Plasma. Plasma is a liquid portion of the blood, slightly yellow colored and alkaline, as shown in the picture also. It forms 50 to 60% of the total blood. It is sticky and slightly heavier than water. On seeing the composition, we can say that the plasma is made up of 90 to 92% of the water, 7 to 8% protein, 1% inorganic salts, and other substances and traces like the glucose, uric acid, ammonium salts, hormones, amino acids, fatty acids, urea, etc. Talking about the function, what is the main function of the plasma? The digested foods such as the glucose, amino acid, fatty acids, they are supplied from the alimentary canal to all the body cells by the way of the plasma. About 3% of the oxygen is supplied to the body cells is transported in dissolved state in the plasma. 7% carbon dioxide produced during oxidation of the food dissolves in water of the plasma, and about 40% of the carbon dioxide combines with the sodium carbonate of plasma to form sodium hydrogen carbonate and is transported to the lungs for elimination. Hormones are the secretion of the endocrine glands. They are transported to the target organs by the way of the plasma of the blood only. The maintenance of the internal environment constant is termed as homeostasis. The plasma, it helps to maintain the internal environment steady by maintaining different salts and organic substances in constant amount. Now let's discuss about some of the cellular elements that are your RBCs, WBCs and platelets, what exactly their functioning and the working is. First is the red blood corpuscles. Those are also termed as erythrocytes. They are very small in size, measuring about 7.7 μm in diameter, biconcave, disc-like and denucleated cells, as shown in the picture also. During maturation, the organelles which are present in immature RBCs disappear to accommodate more hemoglobin for transportation of oxygen. The small size of these cells also enables them to pass through very narrow capillaries. These erythrocytes, they are red in color due to the presence of the respiratory pigment termed as hemoglobin. This pigment is composed of hematin, an iron-containing pigment, and globin, a protein. Due to the loss of the nucleus, the life of the erythrocytes is reduced to about 120 days. Infants have large number of erythrocytes, around 6 to 7 million per mm cube of the blood, and RBC count is lowered by 5% when we are having a sleep, The RBC count increases during the physical activity, during pregnancy, and emotional stress also. The increase in RBC is termed as polycythemia, and the decrease in the RBC is termed as erythropenia. In children, RBCs are produced in bone marrow of all bones till the age of 6. The second type of the cellular element is your WBCs, which are termed as your white blood corpuscles or leukocytes. They are amoeboid nucleated corpuscles. They vary from 5,000 to 9,000 per mm cube of human blood. WBCs are produced either in the bone marrow or in the lymphoid tissues such as lymph, spleen, etc. The extraordinary increase in the number of WBCs is called leukemia, which is commonly named as blood cancer. And decrease in their number, that is the decrease in the number of the WBCs, is termed as leukopenia. The average lifespan of leukocytes is of 13 to 20 days, after which this time they are destroyed in the lymphatic system. Leukocytes fight infection through a process termed as phagocytosis. Now let's discuss about the different types of WBCs. What are they? Based on the structure, the leukocytes or the WBCs are classified into the following two groups. As shown here, the first is your granulocytes and the second is agranulocytes. These granulocytes are further divided as eosinophils, basophils and neutrophils, and agranular as monocytes and lymphocytes. So now we are going to discuss about them one by one. First is granulocytes, that are also termed as granular leukocytes. They have granular cytoplasm. All the granulocytes are produced in the red bone marrow. Depending on the chemical nature of their cytoplasm, these granulocytes are classified into three, as earlier informed, as eosinophils, basophils, and neutrophils. First is eosinophils. They are also termed as acidophils. Their cytoplasm is alkaline in nature. It has a bilobed nucleus. They are produced in the bone marrow. Their function is to engulf bacteria, secrete antitoxins, and is associated with allergy. The second granulocytes are your basophils. Their cytoplasm is acidic and nucleus is three-lobed. They are produced in the bone marrow. They release a chemical called histamine for inflammation that dilates the blood vessels. The third type is neutrophils. They form 70% of the WBCs. Their cytoplasm is neutral and nucleus is 3 to 4 lobed or multi-lobed. They are phagocytic and are produced in the bone marrow. The second category of the type of the WBCs is your agranulocytes, which are also named as agranular leukocytes. These are the leukocytes whose cytoplasm is not granular in appearance. They are produced in the lymph nodes, spleen, and other lymphoid tissues. They have a single large nucleus. They are further divided into two as monocytes and lymphocytes. The first is your monocytes, which are also termed as phagocytes. They are large-sized WBCs measuring about 12 to 20 μm diameter. They form 3 to 8% of the total leukocytes. A monocyte is a large amoeboid cell having a large kidney-shaped nucleus produced in the bone marrow, as shown in the picture also. These monocytes help in engulfing foreign particles as well as worn out tissues of the body. The last type of WBCs of the agranulocytes is your lymphocytes. They are the size of the RBCs and are round in shape. They have a very large nucleus that almost fills the whole of the cell. They have 20 to 23% of the total leukocytes and are produced in the spleen and tonsils. They are not phagocytic. These cells produce antibodies that provide immunity against specific diseases. The third category of the cellular elements of the blood is your platelets. Platelets are the smallest sized corpuscles of all the three types among the WBCs, RBCs and platelets. Platelets are the smallest one. Their number varies from 2 to 3 lakh per mm cube of the blood and size is about of 3 to 4 μm in diameter. They are denucleated. They are also produced in the red bone marrow from some giant cells called megakaryocytes. Their lifespan is of about 3 to 5 days and are mainly destroyed in the spleen. Talking about the function of the platelets, the blood platelets are responsible mainly for the clotting of the blood at injuries. Blood platelets are disintegration product process produce a chemical called thromboplastin or thrombokinase. It initiates the chain of reaction involved in the blood clotting. As earlier informed to about in the platelets only about the blood clotting, so let's discuss what exactly the blood clotting is, which is also termed as coagulation. So what is the process of coagulation of blood? Is of great biological value for the survival of the animals. When a blood vessel is injured, a blood clot forms at the site of the injury. So for this, we should understand what is the exact mechanism of this blood clotting or a coagulation, how it takes place. Step by step, we are going to discuss about it. I have tried to show you a flow chart of this mechanism only. So let's discuss about the mechanism of the blood clotting. The blood clotting involves a series of chemical reaction taking place in a rapid sequence. The first step is at the site of the injury, thrombokinase is released by the integration of the blood platelets and injured tissue cells. Step 2, thrombokinase, which acts as an enzyme, and calcium ions present in the plasma convert inactive plasma protein, that is prothrombin, into active form, which is termed as thrombin. This activity needs calcium and some plasma factors also. Step 3, the soluble plasma protein fibrinogen is converted into insoluble protein called fibrin with the help of thrombin. By the polymerization, the fibrin protein forms a long fibrin threads. These fibrin threads form a very fine network of mesh at the site of injury. The blood cells get entangled in this network and form a clot. Finally, a clot is formed at the injury within 2 to 6 minutes. Soon after its formation, the clot starts contracting and squeezes out rest of the plasma, which is in the form of a clear liquid, that is the serum. Now we are going to discuss in the next slide about the flow of the blood, how the flow of the blood takes place in the heart. Veins are the blood vessels containing blood flowing into the heart, while arteries have blood flowing from the heart. The blue is representative of the blood vessels containing the deoxygenated blood, while the red blood vessels have oxygenated blood fresh from the lungs. Now, let's follow the path of the blood through the heart. The superior vena cava receives blood from the head, neck and upper limbs and chest. Meanwhile, the inferior vena cava receives the blood from the trunk, viscera and lower limbs. Both superior and inferior vena cava ends up in the right atrium, one of the 4 chambers of the heart. The heart not only has 4 chambers, it also has 4 valves. The purpose of the valves is to keep the blood moving in the right direction and not flow backwards. Blood exits the right atrium through the tricuspid valve, so called because it has 3 flaps, and enters the right ventricle. The blood exits the right ventricle through the pulmonary valve and enters the pulmonary artery. Again, it is an artery because blood is flowing away from the heart, but it is blue because it lacks oxygen. The pulmonary arteries then split into the left and right pulmonary arteries, which go to each respective lungs. In the lungs, gas exchange occurs. The blood discards carbon dioxide and picks up oxygen. Now, the blood comes back from the lungs through the pulmonary veins, entering the left atrium. Next, the blood is pumped into the left ventricle through the bicuspid valve. Finally, the oxygenated blood leaves the left ventricle through the aortic semilunar valve, entering the aortic arc. The aortic, which is largest of all the arteries, distributes the oxygenated blood to the rest of the body. The aortic arch has three major branches which supply the head and arms with blood. Then the aorta curls downwards from the behind the heart, forming a descending aorta which descends through the chest and continues down through the abdomen. In the abdomen, the descending aorta splits to supply the pelvis and legs with the blood. Now let's discuss about the different diseases which are caused due in the heart, which have a problem there. So first disease is the palpitation. Makes you feel like this palpitation, it makes you feel like your heart is beating too hard or too fast, skipping a beat or fluttering. You may notice this heart palpitation in chest, throat or neck region. Also, they are usually aren't serious or harmful and often go away on their own. Most of the time, they are caused due to the stress or anxiety or taking too much caffeine, nicotine, or alcohol. It can also happen during pregnancy. The immediate medical attention should be taken if they come with the shortness of the breath, dizziness, chest pain, fainting. Some people have palpitation after heavy meals rich in carbohydrates, sugar, or fat. Sometimes eating food with a lot of monosodium glutamine, nitrates, or sodium can also bring palpitation. So, food diary should be maintained, which can help you to figure out which food is to be avoided at what time. The next disease which is caused due to the problem in the heart is your coronary artery disease. It is a narrowing or blockage of coronary arteries, usually caused. It depends when the major blood vessel that supplies to the heart becomes damaged or diseased. Cholesterol containing deposits, that is your plaque, in coronary arteries. The coronary arteries supply blood, oxygen, and nutrients to the heart. A buildup of the plaque can narrow these arteries, decreasing the blood flow to the heart. Eventually, reduced blood flow may cause chest pain, shortness of the breath, or other coronary arteries diseases. Signs and symptoms also it can be caused. A complete blockage can cause a heart attack also. If you have a risk factor for coronary artery disease such as high BP, high cholesterol, tobacco use, diabetes, obesity, a strong family history of the heart disease, we should immediately talk to the doctor for the proper precautions. Talking about the precaution of the coronary artery disease, to improve your heart health, a person should quit smoking, control the conditions like high BP, high cholesterol, diabetes, stay physically active, eat a low fat salt diet that is rich in fruit, vegetables, whole grains, and maintain a healthy weight, reduce and manage stress also. It is really very important to manage the stress also. The third disease is the heart failure. Sometimes this also named as congestive heart failure. It occurs when the heart muscles doesn't pump blood as well as it should. When this happens, the blood often backs up and fluid can filled up in the lungs, causing the shortness of the breath. Certain heart conditions such as narrow arteries in the heart or high BP gradually leaves the heart too weak or stiff to fill and pump blood properly. For this, we should visit the doctor if following symptoms or signs of the heart failure are experienced like chest pain, fainting or severe weakness, rapid or irregular heartbeat associated with the shortness of the breath, chest pain or fainting, sudden severe shortness of breath, and coughing up with white or pink foamy mucus. The fourth disease is your heart valve disease. There are four valves within the heart: mitral, tricuspid, aortic, and pulmonic valves. These valves make sure blood flows in only one direction through the heart. So, the heart valve disease occurs when your heart's valves doesn't work correctly. The common causes include the rheumatic fever, birth defects, degeneration over time, and infection. The common symptoms are increasing the shortness of the breath, palpitation, swelling of the ankles, feet, or abdomen, weakness or dizziness, quick weight gain, chest discomfort. It can be treated by protecting the valves from further damage, taking medication, having surgery if necessary, and visit the doctor also. The next disease is the cardiac arrest. The sudden cardiac arrest is the abrupt loss of the heart function, breathing, and consciousness. The condition usually results from a problem with heart's electrical system which disrupts the heart's pumping action and stops blood flow to the body. Symptoms like sudden collapse, no pulse, no breathing, loss of consciousness, chest discomfort, shortness of the breath, weakness, fast beating, fluttering, or pounding heart are some of the conditions which can be seen in the cardiac arrest problem. The last disease which I figure out for the discussion is your hypertension, which is commonly named as high blood pressure. It is common condition in which the long-term force of blood against the artery walls is high enough that it may eventually cause health problems. The blood pressure reading is given in millimeters of mercury and it has two numbers, top number as systolic pressure and bottom as diastolic. The normal blood pressure is below 120 systolic and below 80 diastolic. You can have high BP for years without any symptom. Uncontrolled high BP increases the risk of serious health problems, including the heart attack and stroke also. So, whenever these problems are faced there, we should immediately take a precaution and visit to the doctor also. So, this much only for today's discussion. So, here are some of the questions based on the topic, the problems which I have discussed. So, you can test yourself for this, and thank you so much for watching the video.